My main thing for me was that what I learned the most was that even if you really love what you're working on, you should still like move on further and try other things. Even if you're like, this is it, like I really like this.
You're working with, positive and negative space and activating these squares. Everything's a 2D project, I guess.
Kind of pulled away from this class was to just start getting rid of stuff, toss a lot of stuff out of the composition and just arrange it in a fashion that's going to be still effective. And I think
what I learned through this class was to learn InDesign. Because I've always been really comfortable with Photoshop, and I found that even through this class, if there was something I didn't know, I would still go back to Photoshop. And I need to get better with kind of seeking help and figuring out something and working through it if I don't know how to do it, instead of finding just what's comfortable.
I guess the white space actually helped. I did learn it also in 2D, but you don't realize what it does until you actually start paying attention to it, like in this.
Learned a lot about type and text fonts and how they create the mood, kind of like by combining different fonts to create a story.
Just how to use font compositionally, because for me I've never really used lettering in my work. It's always been more traditional imagery. And so once I started using it, I ran into the problem of instead of having all of the associations that you have with imagery, you have a whole new kind of emotional, not vocabulary, but capacity for fonts.
White space can be just as informative as black space, like specifically in this one, just moving the T up a little bit and having the white space cut off the M a little more showed the serif of the T, so that really was an aha moment.
My favorite piece, or my strongest piece, I think, is my X and F, because it's kind of off-center, but the F really makes the X work.
Taught me a little bit more on how white space is part of the composition rather than just the basis for the figure to go on. And
yes, I think we talked a lot about how little things are big, but I tend to make small revisions really early on. And maybe it'd be better if I made a move that destroyed everything and go from there. I guess with, I don't know, with me, I learned a lot about kind of just continuing to go on with something. Sometimes I kind of rework something so much that I think I kind of get myself stuck. And I try and rework it, and I'm in denial that it's not working until I think I either have to set it down or someone else just kind of says it to me, and then I'm like, okay, I have to accept it. And then I finally can kind of move on from it, and I end up really liking what I like, and it's not anywhere close to where I started.
I guess I learned that graphic design isn't always on the computer, and that the computer is a tool just like any other